Didn't anyone tell you not to leave your door unlocked for weirdos? Come on now. That's why I went in your window. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, it's probably a little too soon to be talking about this again, maybe, depending on when this video comes out, possibly within the next week, I don't know. But we do have a Pokemon Presents coming up this month. Which is kind of crazy when you think about the juxtaposition between this year and last year, because last year we had one Pokemon Presents and absolutely nothing else in regards to Pokemon for the entirety of that year. So having a second Pokemon Presents ready for the middle of summer as opposed to the end of the year like we're used to, kinda crazy when you think about it. But with a silent year like that one, surely they've been cooking up something, and I'm looking forward to whatever it is, probably for the most part. That's kind of a lie because you've seen the title and the thumbnail. Don't get me wrong, part of me is still very excited for what they have to offer, but another part of me, like a lot of you guys after these previous couple of years, is also pretty damn nervous. Presentations like this nowadays usually only come along when they feel like they have something big enough to showcase. And part of me is looking forward to that big massive announcement, whatever it may be. But another part of me is wondering, what else do we need this year? But you know what, instead of me sitting here bumbling around in my own head like a dummy, why don't I go ahead and voice a couple of my concerns? That nail is good and sturdy in the wall because you know the drill already. Go ahead, get cozy, grab a nice cool glass of Coke, and why don't you go ahead and grab that thermostat with ramen that you forgot about last month and pour that onto a nice cool batch of ketchup while we talk about my fears for the upcoming Pokemon Presents this month. Before we get into the super obvious stuff, I want to talk about the smaller stuff first, starting with mobile titles. I don't want them to announce another major mobile title. Don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware that somebody has to be playing all of these mobile titles at some point in their day for any of them to survive. I'm surprised they've lived on this long, but it is genuinely still baffling to me how long any of these mobile titles have survived this long. They still receive support and are still getting announcements every single time during these directs, and they take up a good majority of the Pokemon Presents. So much so that they don't even have a section where they talk about it anymore. They literally just go back to back with the announcements for the mobile titles. So don't get it twisted, they are more than fully aware how much time is being taken up by those announcements, which is why they've shortened them drastically over the last couple years. But we've been working with the same handful of mobile titles for quite some time now, which is why I can't help but imagine they have something else cooking. Obviously, there is one major title that's going to be on mobile as well, but we'll talk about that later because that's a completely different entity. Now, of course, in the grand scheme, it's not the biggest deal or the end of the world if they announce another mobile title, but I can't help but feel like time and resources are being kinda wasted on something that's very obviously not gonna last a very long time. Something like Pokemon Go was genuinely a miracle drop for them. That was a completely unprecedented amount of popularity that they did not know what to do with. After the first few years, it was very clear that they kind of wanted to recreate that success in any way, shape, or form possible, but obviously it wasn't. It was just the right place at the right time kind of situation, which is why personally I feel like a lot of the time that they spend on mobile titles can be kind of fruitless. And it's fine to disagree with me on that, but that's just how I'm feeling about it. And it's not like I'm 100% against the concept of mobile titles or anything like that, but I feel like if you are gonna make mobile titles, at least make something worth investing into. We're not really getting anything out of Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Cafe Remix anymore. What are we garnering from that? Of course, there is also potentially the argument that I'm a little biased because I've spent lengthy amounts of time with multiple mobile titles that just kind of ended up disappearing off the face of the earth, and now all of that time and money is just kind of gone with the wind because I have nothing to show for it because those games are completely gone. I know a good amount of people that are still very mad about Dragalia Lost, if anybody remembers that, but regardless, I just want them to put their time, energy, and money into something that matters. My next major fear is whatever's happening with the next major live service title. I don't know how much of a success Pokemon Unite actually is, but I have no doubt in my mind that there is definitely another live service title in the works, especially since we got that leak a while back of Pokemon Synapse. I don't know if that game is still in the works or maybe if they have something else going on. I couldn't tell you, but something is going on back there. Maybe they're being a little bit more hesitant because the last couple of years have proven that not every single live service game is gonna be the next Fortnite. I know everybody wanted to get that, everybody wanted to have that, but like Pokemon Go, Fortnite is a freaking anomaly. It should not have lasted as long as it has, and it's insane that it has. Obviously, a lot of companies really wanted to go gung-ho 100% in on something like this so that they could have something that has a similar amount of success, but that never actually happened. We have seen time and time again companies like PlayStation needing to course correct because they realized that their plan of putting out hundreds of freaking live service games was not gonna work in the long run. Pokemon Unite in of itself is a mystery because I don't know anybody dedicated enough to make sense of how that game has survived as long as it has, but it has. But I know for a fact that that's not gonna be their only game on the market for very long. And you know, there are situations in which I will be okay with live service titles. I mean, hey, I've put damn near 400 hours into Marvel Rivals just this last year alone. However, there is a big and heavy difference between making a game that you actually care about and making a side project for a franchise so that you can gouge as much money out of your consumers as humanly possible. Pokemon Unite's microtransactions are absolutely absurd, and I will not give in to that ever. Which is why if they are getting ready to announce another major live service title to us, I really want it to be something that is actually genuinely fun and can justify microtransactions at all, because I'm very tired of all of these quick cash grabby games. It's an exhausting time to live in. The video game medium has been completely overrun by greed, and it's very noticeable. And you know, I guess if I'm being transparent, one of the major reasons that I'm actually really nervous about another live service announcement is the possibility that that means that they have put time and resources into that instead of another actual genuine spin-off title, something we have talked about countless times now. I mean, again, in reality, why go out of their way to spend money on a spin-off title that doesn't even make nearly as much as the mainline series, as opposed to a live service title which can last way longer and net them way more money in the long run? We've already talked about it, I'm still nervous about it, and if we get something like another live service announcement and we don't get Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX Explorers of Sky or the next Pokemon Ranger title or something instead, I will lose my mind, because it's very clear that they want long-term money as opposed to spin-off money, and that would definitely make me a little unnerved as far as the future goes. So we will have to see what happens with that. Of course, it's not impossible that we could get the announcement of a live service title as well as an actual genuine spin-off title, but be honest with yourself, how likely is that? Again, I would be very happy to be wrong. Please let me be wrong in that case, but let's be super honest with ourselves here. After that, I will be a little irritated if we don't get any information in regards to Pokemon Champions. We got this announced to us earlier this year, and we have yet to hear anything about it, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if we heard a lot of major information about it in this upcoming Direct, but on the off chance that we don't, that would be kind of weird, because considering the fact that it's a battle simulator, I can't imagine they'll withhold it for any longer than like the holiday season this year, right? Especially because they don't really have anything toward Christmas time and stuff to release. If Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out in October, this could be the title that we end up playing for the rest of the year after we're done with Legends ZA. Granted, it would also make sense to save it for next year, considering the fact that it is a big conglomerate of like everything Pokemon so far when it comes to competitive battling. So who knows, maybe it isn't actually prepared yet, but I don't know. It seems like it would be way too early to announce that, but I don't know. We'll have to play things by ear and see what happens. At the very least, though, I would like to see another glimpse of it. What can we expect from it? If it's going to cost money, if it's going to be the live service title, if this is how we're going to be doing our competitive battling or just casual battling online, since Pokemon Legends ZA isn't a traditional mainline title. Because this has to be more than just another Pokemon Battle Revolution, right? It's going to be something better and bigger, no doubt about that. But we just don't know what the deal is with this game is yet. And I'm very, very curious. So I do hope that we get a little bit of major information in regards to what to expect from Pokemon Champions and maybe a timeline or time period as to when we could expect it. I mean, Showdown is cool too, so I don't know. Take that information as you will. And then lastly and most obviously, everybody and their mama saw this coming because we've talked about it time and time again. I do not, under any circumstances, want to see any other major titles announced during this direct when we already have Pokemon Legends ZA coming out this year. I don't want to hear anything else in terms of a mainline title or anything like that. I do not want to be in another position where we are watching undercooked footage of a major mainline title that's coming out way sooner than it needs to. I have no doubt in my mind that we are getting either Generation 10 or something else extremely major by the end of 2026. So take the rest of this year while we're playing Legends EA and potentially Champions to touch upon that game as much as humanly possible, and don't give us any footage or even a glimpse of it until it is ready to be shown off. I don't even care if it's not ready by next year. Actually, more power to you if it's not. Are you guys sick of me yet talking about this? Because it happens every single year at this point. It's actually baffling how funny it is, how often we talk about this. But regardless, I cannot stress enough how strongly I feel about this. Don't show us anything that isn't ready. Plain and simple. But like I said, pretty obvious stuff, right? Don't give us anything major. Give us a couple of interesting things. Maybe give us a spin-off to look forward to. If you have a live service game in development, hopefully it's not something that's just very obviously greedy and meant to just yank cash from us through microtransactions. And if you have a mobile title, do whatever you want with that. I'm probably not going to touch it, but that's just me. Maybe you guys feel differently about that. That's totally fine. But regardless, let's hope they have something cool and interesting to show off, because I don't know what to think anymore about this. But hey, you know what? Maybe that's just me. So that just about wraps it up for this one here. This one's definitely on the shorter side, especially in comparison to my previous two videos, which were definitely both a lot lengthier than I intended them to be, even though this one probably could have been lengthier, but in reality, it's not stuff that I haven't talked about before. So honestly, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens in a couple of weeks from now when we do inevitably get that Pokemon Presents. Hopefully they show off something cool, fun, something that isn't very obviously cash grabby, even if it is a live service game. Maybe they could do something cool. Again, you know, I'll mess with a live service title, you know. Again, Marvel Rivals is fire, but I just need to see some actual genuine care and love being put into a game that I do feel could last a much longer period of time. So we'll see what happens. And then other than that, I want a real spin-off game, and I want to see what the deal is with Pokemon Legends ZA. We'll see what happens with that. But I do have a hopes and wishes video that I would love to do, but maybe I'll expand that to you guys. Maybe that one will be a response video. We'll put out a little thing probably a week or so from now, so I can gather up your guys' opinions and thoughts and wishes when it comes to this upcoming Pokemon Presents, and we'll do that instead. And maybe I'll combine it so that maybe I'll talk about mine a little bit, and then we'll talk about your guys's right after that, and then we'll make a big spectacle out of that or something, and then we'll see what they give us. So we'll play that by ear. But that's enough rambling from me. I'm passing the mic over to you guys, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that a lot of my fears are valid and justified, and I definitely am onto something when it comes to my fears, when it comes to Pokemon Presents and what they're going to be giving us this upcoming year, whether it be a mobile title or a live service game or another major announcement? Or am I off my rocker again? I don't need to worry about any of this stuff because in reality, none of it even really matters, and it's not going to affect anything in the long run. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm Gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.